We've all been waiting for this for so long, so finally the new season opens the 47th tournament of the beloved MMA series at the Triumph Sports Palace, Liberty. On January 29th, the first event of the series opening the 2022 season took place in Liberty in suburban city of Moscow. And exactly 4 years before this event, our TV channel MMA-TV.com began broadcasting. During this time, 682 fighters performed on our ground, 118 SportLife programs and 24 names and records programs were released. 34 MMA Stars issues and all exciting M1 Global League fights were broadcasted, rebranding was carried out and many more interesting things were planned. As part of this special evening, 13 fighters' peers were waiting for the audience, among which 2 Brazilians and a representative of Serbia, veteran of Russian MMA, and of course the favorite athletes of the viewers performed. The audience missed the live show widely. There was incredible energy from people and the enthusiastic cheers of the guests to the tournament were heard. And we will definitely tell you more about how the evening of the fights went. Well, the main fight of the evening is a real intrigue for all the fans. The silver belt of the winner is at stakes again. Wanderlei Mexicano Jr. and Abdulgadzhi Gaziev are fighting. Wanderlei, in his interview before the fight, said that the fight with Alexander Dormanov seemed to him too easy. What do you think will happen this time? I think this is a second fight, and it is already visible, understandable, and disassembled. Therefore, it will not be such an easy fight after all. It is quite clear to how you can take it over Wanderlei. You can ground him, you can fight a gap in his wrestling components, transfer him down, defend yourself from the techniques at the carpet, and take home the victory along with the silver belt. Let's see, I think our compatriot has every chance. The last 2 events of the series were a real breakthrough for Abdulgadzhi Gaziev. Having successfully debuted at the 46th event of the series, he becomes the owner of the silver belt of the winner of the MMA series literally in a month. This duel can rightfully be called the most intense fight of the last tournament. The athletes spent 5 full and intense rounds in the cage, during which they managed to show their entire arsenal both in the stand-up and the stalls. The outcome of the match was not clear until the announcement of the results. In the end, Abdulgadzhi Gaziev took the silver belt of the winner from Wanderlei Jr. by a majority decision of the judges, striking 72 precise blows compared to 116 performed by Mexicano, but controlling the most time of the fight. However, it is worth noting that 62 final hits of Wanderlei in the opponent's head led to the hospitalization of the winner with a suspected traumatic brain injury. After the first blow to the head, which was missed from the knee, to be honest, I began to feel weak. Let's see. I was ready to die there, but to win. As you can see, the fight were very difficult. And nevertheless, I took my belt. Let's move on. Let's see what happens. A special event of the 47th tournament shall be the fight between Max Chatun and Serbian Adnan Alic. By the way, Max Chatun just recently won a duel against Max X. What do you think will happen this time? The most impressive thing was that when he came into this room, gravity seems to change. He is a very big, very serious guy, really huge. There were really few people so big in martial arts. What will happen in this fight? I think that the stress that happens before the fight is already absent from him. He just fought yesterday, won, and everything is already fine. Therefore, it will be much easier for Max now than for the Serbian. Due to the fact that he is in his native land, I think Max will win again. By the way, did you hear the news that Max X attacked the coach of the Mad Max in the fans? No, I haven't heard about that, but it's more like show business. If he did it, I think that from this point of view, it's only a plus. He will still be followed. We will talk about it again. More people will find out about it. Despite the absolute confidence of Adnan Alic in his victory, Max Novoselov dealt with him literally in the first half of the initial round. This extra fight in super heavyweight class was long awaited by the viewers of the MMA-TV.com TV channel. We were waiting for him with special interest because the rival of the already familiar Adnan gladiator Alish was supposed to be the world-class pop MMA star's 49 years old Max Novoselov. The Serbian athlete unfortunately failed to close his defeat, obtaining a duel with Alexander Hanit at the 41st tournament of the series. His new opponent, Mad Max, has not known the bitterness of the defeat since 2010, although he had a break in his career for 6 years. From the very beginning of the bout, the fighters tried to understand the weaknesses of the opponents and carefully kept their distance, provoking each other with all sorts of kicks. Nevertheless, during the reconnaissance, the fighters managed to show their speed and ability to work with their legs. After a minute and a half from the first round, Novoselov seemed to have tired of the uncertain provocations from Alish, and he moved on destroying the opponent. First, the Serb received a powerful kick from a U-turn to the head, after which he was already imprinted into the net. In the second minute, Novoselov transferred the Serb to the stalls, took his back and began to finish off his opponent. Alish was able to endure only a few heavy blows to the body, after which he hastened to surrender. The judges counted the victory of the Max by a technical knockout at the second minute, not in second of the first round. This was not only the second victory of Mad Max in 2 days, but this also brought the fighter a special prize in the framework of the MMA-TV.com Awards 2021 for the popularization of MMA, which will soon be solemnly awarded to him at the ceremony.
Как вы себя чувствуете? Вы не оставили никого равнодушным.
How do you feel? You have not left anyone indifferent. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to have this fight. I couldn't help but win because the team was rooting for me. I had such fans in front of whom I just felt uncomfortable. Well, and the audience, of course. I always go out and try to win. To show at least a good fight. This is my star team. These are my fans. For them directly, I showed good, powerful blows. For him to know and for her to see. Another very important event tonight is a fight between two old acquaintances. Zaur Gadzhibabayev fights with Yuri Prosenko. They have already met in 2018. Zaur won then. After that bout, fighters did not actually see each other. Zaur Gadzhibabayev has a habit of ending fights with knockouts on our court. Do you think such an outcome is possible for this time? In principle, he has such habits to finish a fight with a knockout. It's very easy to explain. He is the most titled athlete in mixed martial arts of the amateur federation. I think there is no person more skilled in heavyweight in our part of the world now. If he is in a good shape, and I think he is in a good shape, it will be about the same as in their first fight, the victory. Whether it will be the early one or not, life will show. The meeting of two old acquaintances, Yuri Prosenko and Zaur Gadzhibabayev, ended again in the interest of the Azerbaijani fighter. Zaur did not change his traditions and once again dealt with his opponent with a technical knockout and took the bronze belt of the winner of the MMA series. Ukrainian fighter Yuri Prosenko could not work out his defeat in the rematch. Zaur again showed that he is a real puncher and immediately gave his opponent an exact double, in which Yuri responded with a double attack with his left hand. During the first round, the fighters tried to keep each other on jabs and sides, but Zaur was more accurate. It was clear that Prosenko was clearly not satisfied with such an outcome of the events, and he tried to transfer his colleague to the canvas and impose the wrestling 3 times. It did not end with success for Yuri. Gadzhibabayev quickly returned the course of the fight to the center of the cage and began to press the opponent with even more precise, knocking out the mouth guard punches. The first round ended in favor of Zaur, who threw out 3 times more accurate punches. At the beginning of the second 5-minute session, Prosenko immediately decided to try his luck again by transferring Gadzhibabayev to the stalls. As in the last round, these actions did not bring success to the fighter. Zaur did not concede in defense and caught the opponent on his own reception. In the second minute of the second round, the Azerbaijani fighter dropped his opponent on the mat and finished him up from above. The victory of the battle brought Gadzhibabayev the bronze belt of the winner of the series. Yes, there was only a bit of time, and there were some difficulties, but it turned out well. The most important thing is that I won. It is a great honor for me to perform in the MMA series. The attitude and everything else, I'm very glad that I won the fight. We still have an important test today for Sergey Barbashev, who is now leading a winning path with 2 duels. He was able to close his defeat in Barvicha at the 33rd event. Do you think Barbashev has a chance now? I think there is always a chance, but roughly for now we will judge this way. Let it be 50-50. Athletes will figure it out for themselves. And we will wait. Muram Conor McGregor Sergey Babyshev managed to continue his winning streak. Sergey's original opponent was to be Jamil Belihayal, who was replaced by Ulvik Kahramanov from Azerbaijan with a short notice. At the beginning of the match, Sergey traditionally occupied the center of the octagon and began work with the first number. He managed to make his opponent lose the balance with a low kick literally in the first 20 seconds of the initial round. It seemed as if in this fight Babyshev was focused solely on the footwork, and realizing this, Ulvi attempted to pass through the opponent's leg. This chance of going into wrestling did not bring the fighter success because after that Sergey began acting more cautiously, creeping closer to the opponent at the same time. The outcome of the match was decided by the same catching low kick from the beginning of the round. Dropping Kahramanov to the floor, Babyshev began to finish off the opponent. In the overall score, Sergey threw out 17 accurate punches in 1 minute of the round compared by one hit from the Azerbaijani athlete. The judges counted the victory of the Muram athlete by technical knockout at the 57th second of the initial round. Recall that this battle was the third successful one for Sergey, thanks to which the fighter gets the right to hold the title fight for the bronze belt of the winner of the MMA series.
Ты сегодня снова доказал, что ты один из зрелищных бойцов. Бой был короткий.
Today you proved again that you are one of the spectacular fighters. The fight was short but emotional, but I see that you're even unhappy for some reason. What happened to you? Yes, I'm not always particularly happy with my fight. I know I can work differently, give more shows. I'm learning in this. You need to open up. It's very hard emotionally to contain it all, to prepare to go out the fight and still try to give a show. I'm learning.
Учимся.
And you can see the results of the fights with the participation of other fighters of the tournament on your TV screens. Grisha Milkanyan, who successfully debuted at the 33rd event in Brovija, takes another victory in the series, this time by technical knockout in the first round from the Kyrgyz fighter Kildibeku Uluazizbek. Of the two Brazilians representing the core MMA club, only one took the victory this time, Ignacio Voltaire, who defeated Aybek Kabenov from Kyrgyzstan by unanimous decision of the judges. Said Khatiev defeated Viktor Zulpukaluulu in his style with a technical knockout in the first round. For the Kyrgyz fighter, this defeat was the third in a row in his career. Ruslan Amuyev made his successful debut on our ground, having won the third victory in a row in his career with 0 defeats. His opponent, Bulibek Yakhshiyev from Uzbekistan, lost to Ruslan by submission at the 3rd minute, 33rd second of the first round. Another bright debut was the performance of Yevgeny Kurovskoy, with whom a huge support team came to Liberty. He entered the octagon on wild adrenaline and by the middle of the second round defeated his opponent Denis with a technical knockout.
Я рад вернуться обратно в клетку после года.
I'm glad to be back in the cage after a year. Well, I was in kickboxing and I'm a pure striker. I'm still the only one in Thai boxing. I haven't fought in the cage for a year, but now we need to retrain and it is necessary to live here. Nevertheless, I have a coaching staff. Very great job. Literally for 2 months, maybe a little more than 2 months, we wanted to return the MMA series last year in November.
Даже, чуть больше, может, чем 2 месяца. Мы все хотели в серию ММА вернуться в том году, то есть в ноябре.
These are the results of the 47th MMA Series tournament, and I want to remind you that you can still cast your vote for your favorite fighter in the framework of the MMA-TV.com Awards 2021. Hurry up, there is less and less time before the announcement of the results left, and perhaps it is your vote that will be the decisive one. And now there is news that cannot be passed by. Last week, the performance of Oleg Perevernity-Ward, the representative of the club Kuzna Vladislav Sokolenko at the MMA World Championship in Abu Dhabi, ended with a resounding victory. In the semi-finals, the representative of Crimea defeated Shamkhan Kushakov by a split decision of the judges, and in the final, the fighter defeated Kasim Sardorov from Tajikistan by unanimous decision. Congratulations to Vladislav on his triumph in gaining the status of MMA World Champion in the category up to 77 kilograms, and we wish him even more world victories. It was the SportLife program and its host Alexandra Abramova. Watch the SportLife program every Thursday on the MMA-TV.com TV channel.